the 90s are having a serious comeback in fashion, in music, and now in fiction. The Sylvan Hotel is the debut novel from local author Frannie James. It's a love letter to the city's grunge era before the tech boom reshaped everything. And it's a book that captures the mood, the music, and the magic of the 1990s in Capitol Hill. Editor Marley Jolin joins me now. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
The cover is so cool.
Isn't it great?
This feels really like 90s vibe. You can feel that already.
Yes.
What is it about Frannie's manuscript that really first grabbed your attention?
My favorite part of this book, and what I noticed right away, they send me the book, I get to dive in, it's complete. The first couple pages, you're just transported instantly to this other world. It's not so long ago, but there's walkie-talkies with static, there's the switchboard flashing with lights and beeps, and just right off the bat, you're in this high-speed time that we've kind of lost. Everything is so digital now, and there was just this immediate sort of transporting experience for me of being back in this era.
And I love when a book makes you feel that.
Yes.
Where you're in another world and you're immediately in that. The story, I understand, follows 23-year-old Joanne. She just graduated from UW, go Dogs, and she just got her first job. Tell us about that job and why it was such a rich setting for this story.
In the story, Joanne is working her first job at the Sylvan Hotel.
Okay.
It's one of maybe two at the time, very posh, fancy hotels in Seattle. She's young, the other people working around her are young, but the hotel itself is just humming with activity constantly. You've got celebrities showing up from time to time, you've got room service running around, you've got the house cleaners back and forth, and Joanne's at front desk, so she's sort of the face of the organization in that way, and she has to really put on a show and be dignified and professional. And it's just such a beautiful setting with so much going on.
Great. And this is also where she meets her first really tight-knit group. What's that dynamic and how does that really add to the story?
I think this is actually my favorite part of the story. The group of friends that develops, they're all employees at the Sylvan Hotel. So you've got the valets, you've got a house cleaner, you've got the room service folks, as I mentioned, the front desk people. And they're all sort of the entry-level employees that really bond, And then there's kind of a manager or two here and there, throwing in a little tension, but the group takes care of each other. They're really sharing that experience together, and they're all in that sort of in-between stage of life, not quite adults. Most of them, it's a first job. And so there's just a beautiful dynamic that happens. I mean, they're all 20, so you got your drama, you got your heartbreak, you got your flirting, your silliness. It's a very relatable and beautiful group of folks that come together to take care of each other and kind of feel like family.
Beautiful. And there's a deep sense of nostalgia for people that have grown up in this area, remember the 90s well, like the walkie-talkies, everything you were talking about. Can you talk more about that trip down memory lane and how this was editing?
Yeah, this book it was so interesting for me. I'm just a tiny bit too young to have lived through that era in Seattle. I mean, I was like 12 or 13. Even so, this world that we are invited into, that Frannie James creates, it's just rife with nostalgia. Those early 90s, the flannel, the music, the coffee. I mean, these are all aspects of, I think, who Seattle still is. And yet, the city itself is coming of age. So I think it's an experience that everyone can relate to, whether you were actually 23 in 1992 or you just love this city or had your own coming of age experience.
Exactly. And it looks like your team really had a blast bringing the book into the world. So what's that launch experience been like? And I also want to know just what the feedback has been so far.
It's been such a blast. I mean, we went to the book launch just last week, I guess, and the room was packed. Folks were just firing off with their own memories of establishments that no longer exist that mean stuff to people. They talked about Sit and Spin, which I believe is a laundromat music venue.
That needs to come back.
And yes, and people are calling out, bring it back. It feels like one of the things that I think is so special about this book is that most of what we think of in early 90s Seattle is sort of that guy with a guitar story, which is a great story. But to have this narrative through the lens of a working class woman of color coming of age during that time is just such a special opportunity. And I think people see themselves in it. They remember their own experiences in Seattle. So it's felt a lot like this sort of reunion in launching the book, just encouraging people to remember and share, their own experiences in this Seattle of yesteryear.
It makes perfect sense. What other fun projects do you have coming up?
I've been working on editing a couple books that Hinton has planned for next year. I'm really excited about both of them. The first is a memoir by Ed Taylor, who is the vice provost at University of Washington. Go Dogs. He's written a memoir that is just so strikingly beautiful. He's talking about growing up in a small town in California, the community, the family that surrounds him that really helped him to discover who he is and who he's going to be in the world. It's got such just a powerful undercurrent of reminding us of how important those sort of small acts of care can be in someone's life. Just have a ripple effect that really goes out beyond what you can imagine. The other book is called The Body Still Remembers, written by Danielle Marie Holland, and it's a bit of a tough read in some ways. The author is really diving into hard topics, but also bringing such hope and such a beautiful, positive outlook to what we can become.
Amazing. Loved my talk with you. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having us.